All right, guys, pace car pulls in. Waiting for the green flag here. And they are green. Diving down into turn 1. Kendrick rocking that low side here. Going to be able to slide in front of Kenny Tripp and secure P1. See where Scott Benedict's. Yep, he did start from the pits, guys. He's going to be a little bit behind the ball here, but he should be able to jump up there. Oh, we do have a caution. What ended up happening here? Let's go ahead and get this pulled up momentarily. Looks like Kenny Tripp and Kendrick Cryer. Oh, Kendrick just starts losing it, coming off a 2 there. Ends up taking Kenny Tripp with him. It's like both of them may be able to keep going here. Kendrick Cryer coming out of the pits now. Kenny Tripp catching up to the field. Well, that's going to shake things up a little bit here. It's going to make Mr. Jonathan Emerson your leader. You do have Joshua Doobie and Jim Johnson both running down pit road. Try to see what they got going on here. Might just be a fuel stop. Trying to just top off that tank and make sure they can make it a little bit farther than everyone else. As Joshua Doobie does miss his pit stall. That's never a fun thing. Looks like it's just fuel for Jim Johnson as he is back out. Joshua Doobie coming back out now. They will be able to catch up to the field. This is going to be a great opportunity for Scott Benedict here. You know, him starting from the pits, he was able to, you know, not go a lap down early. And now he is up into P3. He was running a little bit off the pace there. Looks like he might be either taking an EOL or coming down pit lane here so that he can start in the back. He might just not be comfortable running this car at this track yet and need some more track time. We are showing Fitzpatrick Sr. is now up in 3rd. Lap 4 of 100. 100 laps here, guys. This is a flat track. This is a difficult track. It's not something that normally you see a lot of leagues going to. This is definitely the first time in JBSRL history that we've been here. And this is our 5th season of operation. Almost ending the 5th season. And just trying to get a little bit of variety there. Having a different type of track, and hopefully it's going to produce some great racing here. You know, we only got 8 guys in the field, but it's going to be some great battles between every guy out here. You do form up here. Pace car is off. Single file restart. Jonathan Emerson leads them to the stripe. Got a little bit of action here in the back. So you do have those little bit of slower vehicles there. Guys that started in the back, and Scott Benedict, who did start from the pits. You're going to see how these guys are trying to get around him. Do have 3 wide for last place here. Kendrick just shoving it down way low. And we do have an incident. That should be a caution here. Caution, caution, caution. Let's try to see what exactly happened. Don't know if there was contact. Nope, it looks like Phil just ended up breaking loose there. Let's wind it back. Yeah, Phil ended up breaking it loose, coming down the track, ends up catching Kendrick. It's never a great sign for Kendrick there. Kendrick and it looks like Scott Benedict's. These guys do have a fast repair. So we'll see what's going on here. Kendrick still is out on track. So he might not have been too bad on damage there. See these guys catching up to the field. So it should be another single file restart here, guys. Jonathan Emerson will lead them to the stripe once again with Kenny Tripp and Jimmy Johnson following closely. Josh Doobie in P4. Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. P5. Kendrick Cryer, Phil Manzo, and Scott Benedict's bringing up the rear. Does look like we have Kenny Tripp and Kendrick Cryer both down on pit road now. Kendrick may have got damage in that last incident, so probably coming in to take his fast repair, fill up on fuel. Now those are your P1 and P2 qualifiers, guys. Two fastest cars in the field, starting in the back. It's definitely going to be an interesting time to see, how they're going to work around, guys. Got a little bit of a race off pit road here. Kenny Tripp does hit the wall. What is going on here? Let's go back a little bit. Let's watch that from Tripp's point of view. Ooh, that is not a good deal for Kenny Tripp. He is going to have heavy damage. Looks like they were trying to race each other off of pit road here. Don't know why you'd be going that hard there. Don't know why you'd be trying to shove it too wide off that tiny pit road exit. See if Kenny Tripp is able to take his fast repair, get back out there, and catch up to the field. Be a shame to lose the number 2 qualifier here. So he does have his fast repair. He's going to jump back off on pit road. Watch out for that outer wall, Kenny. He shoots inside a little bit. Just making sure he doesn't get it. And he is back going. Looks like we will be double file here. Jonathan Emerson leads them to the stripe with Jimmy Johnson on his outside. Joshua Doobie on the inside. Pace car is in. Green flag. We are back racing. See if we can get a couple laps in here, guys. You have Kendrick in the back shooting it 3 wide, followed by Tripp. Getting around those guys that aren't as comfortable here with the ARCA car. It's going to be a great battle to watch. Kenny Tripp going inside. Fitzpatrick Sr. there. As Kendrick tries to work his way back up to the front. We do have a battle for second place here between Joshua Doobie and Jim Johnson. Jim working that high line a little bit higher than Doobie. Doesn't look like Doobie's going to have anything for him here. Might have a run off of turn 2, going into 3. Kendrick trying to stick his nose in here and work his way back up. Kendrick goes way low inside Doobie. Fighting for that P3 position. Dives it in low in turn 1. He might be trying to go for a twofer. Oh, he's got those left tires on that yellow line. Pushing up in front of Doobie. That was a close call. But he does clear Doobie. Let's see if he can get Jimmy Johnson here. Going to be working a little bit higher line than he did in 1 and 2. Wondering how much he is burning up his tires. Trying to get up to the front here to Mr. Jonathan Emerson. Jim's one of the toughest guys to pass out here. He's going to hold his line. He's a very consistent driver. Going to slam the door on Kendrick as Kendrick wobbles a little bit. That's going to give Doobie the chance to get into the inside of Kendrick going into 3 and 4. Fighting back for P3. Now you got Tripp trying to stick his nose in there, battling for P4 with Kendrick. 4 cars battling for 2nd through 4th, or 2nd through 5th now. Gonna be some great action here. Let's give a little ride along here with Kendrick Cryer. Notice he is running a little bit lower of a line than a lot of the guys are. Looks like he's almost getting down onto the apron at some points. Right down onto that yellow line. Doobie does slam the door on him. Well, Doobie pushing up a little bit. Kendrick tries to stick the nose in. Doesn't make it stick. Doobie for now will keep P3. Oh, a little bit of contact. Kendrick and Tripp both catch it up. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any repercussions of that from Kendrick. That's going to allow Doobie and Jim Johnson to get away here momentarily. Hey, Kyle, thank you for the follow, buddy. Wish I could see you out here. I know you're probably busy. Let's check these guys in the back here. Running 6th, Mr. Fitzpatrick Sr. He has about a 3-second gap on Phil Hitman Monzo right now. You got Phil and Scott Benedict's back here, both fighting it out. Got about a 1-second gap between the two. Both of them just trying to get comfortable in the car, and you know, maybe they can get a little bit of fuel strategy here and see what they can do to catch up to that lead pack. Currently, you do have Jonathan Emerson with a almost 2-second gap on Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson and Joshua Doobie fighting it out for 2nd right now. Doobie sending it underneath Jim. Wonder if there's a little bit of a tire fall off for Jim. He wasn't able to keep it on the low side. Doobie sends it in. And looks like he will clear Jim for 2nd. Kendrick Cryer sticking his nose back in there. Looks like Jim bobbled a little bit coming off 2. Hits the wall coming into 3. And he's going to drop from 2nd. Most likely to 5th here as Kenny Tripp dips his nose underneath as well. Fighting back. Yeah, he does stay ahead of Tripp going into 1 and 2. Might see a little bit of chrome horn action here. Kenny's already done it to Kendrick. He did move him a little bit, whether it was on accident or not. This may be one of the only ways to get past some guys here today. We do have Kendrick shooting it inside of Joshua Doobie now. Left tire's on that yellow line. Man, he is almost on that apron, flat tracking the car all the way around 1 and 2. Looks like that high side gets that just little bit of momentum heading onto the straight, making it so that Kendrick can't make the pass as of yet. Shooting it all the way onto the apron that time. Trying to get that slider going. Doesn't look like it's going to work as of yet. He might be able to shoot it down in 3 and 4. As Kenny Tripp does get past Jim Johnson there in 1 and 2. Tripp's going to be trying to follow Kendrick through. Gets right on the bumper of Joshua Doobie. Tripp sends it in on the low side now. Will he be able to clear? Yes, he does clear Joshua Doobie for third. So now your running order is Jonathan Emerson, Kendrick Cryer, Kenny Tripp. Kendrick is breaking away from that 3-car pack a little bit here. It's going to be interesting to see if he can chase down Jonathan Emerson before the first round of pit stops. Doobie trying to fight back. He is right on Tripp's bumper. Tripp does pull away a little bit. Jim Johnson looking to the inside there, seeing if he can fight back and take P4 back from Joshua Doobie. Great tight action running between these 4 cars. They've been throwing haymakers at each other all night. And with these fixed setups, it's one of those, you got to be a great driver, but all these guys are around the same skill level. What it comes down to is having someone just make a small mistake. You know, we've seen guys come out of 2 and have that little bit of a bobble, and it allows guys to get underneath them. So this may be a war of attrition here. Not only with your tires. Oh, Jim just got into the wall. Talking about mistakes there. He does have that little bobble coming off of 2 that we've seen all night. And looks like the car is hurt there. See if we can get a good look at it. Well, doesn't look like it's hurt too bad here. Car sounds fine. Well, let's see if he can work his way back up and catch up to Josh Doobie. Sorry for the Discord notifications there, guys. We get back into the action here. Kendrick has dropped the gap down to Jonathan Emerson. Question is how much of the tires has he used trying to get up there? And now that he's caught him, can he get around him? For once, he's looking to the outside. He's not shooting it down on the apron. A little bit of a different take here. Gets right up along that wall. Looks like he may have found a faster line than what he was doing earlier. And he does have the momentum. He will not lead that lap. But he's got the advantage going into turn 1. Emerson fighting back on the inside. Gets a little bit of run going down into 3 and 4 here. They get close. Might have had a little bit of contact. Emerson will pull away. Now with that little bit of battling, that's allowed Kenny Tripp to close the gap and make it up there and make this a three-way fight for the lead between Jonathan Emerson and Kenny Tripp of Fast Track with Kendrick Cryer of EHP Racing. Tripp and Cryer side by side now. See if Kenny can get the advantage going onto the front stretch here. Looks like he will clear Kendrick. Don't know if Kendrick just has a little bit too much tire fall off from driving up there. He is getting a little bit wide going off of turn 2 there, almost getting to that wall. Man, he's driving that car hard, trying to get any advantage he can, trying to catch up to Kenny Tripp. And while Tripp and Cryer are battling, you do have your leader, Jonathan Emerson, who's led most of the laps today. You know, due to some circumstances in the beginning, but he's still led almost all the laps, all green flag laps today. It's allowing him to get away again. These guys are going to have to settle their issues quick and try to get single filed back out just to get back up there to him. They're going to have to use so much tire to get back to Jonathan Emerson. They may not be able to get him before the green flag pit stops here. All this battling going on, it's now allowed Joshua Doobie to get back into it. And we have a three-way battle back for second place again. Those Fast Track cars are all over Kendrick Cryer. Alright guys, at the lap 40 mark, we do have Jonathan Emerson leading, followed by Kenny Tripp, Kendrick Cryer, Joshua Doobie. Now almost 5 seconds back from that lead pack is Jim Johnson. Wondering that car has a little bit more damage than we originally thought, or maybe he's just trying to save some fuel here and do a little bit of strategy. Back behind him, 14 seconds behind Jim Johnson, is Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., followed by Scott Benedicts and Phil Manzo. Looks like these three are going to be catching up to each other here soon and may have a battle for 6th place. It's going to be definitely something to watch out for here. Head back up here. We do have the battle for 3rd place between Joshua Doobie and Kendrick Cryer. Both these guys working on each other. So at this point of the race, you sit here and you wonder, when do you come down pit road for tires? These guys do have 2 tire sets to change out to. I don't imagine this flat track is mightily easy on tires. They've been green for about 30 laps here. You know, you start seeing these cars push up a little bit, and they've been racing hard. It's not something you want to keep fighting for too long here. So the question is who pulls the trigger first? Cryer protecting the inside there from Joshua Doobie. See if there's a little bit of contact. Doobie does get a little bit of a run coming off 4. Side by side, going down into turn 1. Looks like Kendrick's going to let him have it. There's no point in fighting yet, guys. You still have 55 laps to go. 56 laps. As long as you stay up here, stay with Jonathan, who has just been one of the fastest cars of the day. And keep your tires underneath you. Stay up with these fast track guys. Have a good pit stop. Looks like we did have Jim Johnson enter the pits. He will join. He will be a lap down as of right now. Definitely going to be interesting to see where he plays out. So first person's pulled the trigger. Who's going to follow? Looks like... Ooh. Kendrick back there had a little bit of a bobble. Let's go back and take a look at it. Looks like coming out of 2 there. Yeah. Bobbles. Looks like he made contact with the wall. Definitely not something you want to have at one of these bigger tracks where, you know, aero may not be as important as a super speedway. You want to have that aero. Oh no! Looks like Jim. Was that Jim? Who was that there? Yes, it was. On those fresh tires. Makes a heck of a save, guys. Keeps that car from getting any more damage. And now it is fast track with the 1, 2, 3 right now. Jonathan Emerson, Kenny Tripp, and Joshua Doobie pulling away from Kendrick Cryer. Looks like we do have some action in the back here. Doobie does pass Kenny Tripp for P2. With Kendrick Cryer now entering pits. Looks like he cannot stand having those worn tires anymore. Kendrick Cryer will be your second person on pit road here. But we did have Phil Manzo passing Scott Benedict's back here for 6th place currently. Looks like he's setting his sights on Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. as they get around Kendrick Cryer on pit lane. Looks like Kendrick will rejoin right here behind the fast track guys. He might be able to work his way past them with those fresh tires and get his lap back here. He does come out in front of Jim Johnson. Jonathan Emerson is coming up on Mr. Scott Benedict's here. Coming up on that lap traffic. Kendrick throwing it down onto the apron. He is just driving like a madman, trying to get past these cars on older tires. Kendrick's sitting here saying, I want my lap back, guys. Let's go. All the way to the apron. What do we got going on there? Holy cow. Kendrick said, I don't need track. I just need asphalt. Putting on a show here for us with Warlord Gaming. See if he goes down onto the apron again in 1 and 2, trying to get past Jonathan Emerson and get his lap back. He does. How is he making this work, guys? Now, there's no rule against it. We may have to consider something about staying on the racing surface, which is loosely defined. Scott Benedict does have a little bit of a bobble in front of Kendrick there, as Kendrick just starts pulling away from that lead pack of the 3 fast track guys. And that's going to allow Josh Doobie to get around Jonathan Emerson and take the lead, followed by Kenny Tripp. Tripp on the inside of Emerson here. Imagine he's going to be able to pull in front of him and clear him going into 3 and 4. Oh, we do have a wreck here. Looks like Phil was trying to get onto pit road. We do have an issue, guys. Phil is slowing down here. He may not have called it on the radio. Phil's trying to get down there, get out of the way. Joshua Doobie just plows right through him. That is definitely not what the leaders wanted to see here. That is never a good thing. Yellow flag, guys. We are under caution. Imagine seeing Josh Doobie and Kenny Tripp here coming down pit road. So mind you, Kendrick did get his lap back by racing these guys. Jimmy Johnson should be the first person a lap down, getting his lucky dog. Do have a lot of takers down pit road here. Kendrick coming around. He will be starting P1, which is a dangerous thing. Very dangerous for these fast track guys. They're now, instead of Kendrick trying to get around him, all he's going to have to do is walk away. If he's got the speed, if he's got the pace to get away from these guys, it could definitely be something hard for them to get around him. You know, Kendrick did qualify P1. He did have the fastest time of the night. It's going to be an interesting proposition to see what happens here. It's like Emerson. Johnson did not pit. Correction, Mr. Jim Johnson did pit. Doobie, Fitzpatrick Sr., Mr. Kenny Tripp, Scott Benedict. Everyone does get out ahead of Kendrick Cryer here. We do have 2 cars, Scott Benedict and Phil Hitman Monzo. Both of them will be a lap down here. So we have 6 cars on the lead lap, able to fight for this win here. 58 of 100 laps down, guys. Jim Johnson coming back off pit road once again here. Patrick Sr. catches up to the pack. Scott Benedict's up there with him. Kenny Tripp is on pit road. Now, he did have to use his quick repair earlier for that little bit of an incident coming off pit road with Kendrick Cryer. Definitely something to watch out for. So he's coming in down on the pit road, getting his whatever damage he can get fixed here. Probably topping off on fuel as well. And he's hauling to catch that back of the field before they go green. Looks like we will be getting formed up here. We do have Jonathan Emerson starting on the outside of Kendrick Cryer. Emerson, arguably one of the most dominant cars of the day, but can he keep up with Kendrick here? It's definitely hard to fight the clean air. Pace car is off. 60 laps down at the line. We are green flag racing once again. Kendrick does clear Emerson. Whoa, you do have Tripp pulling a Kyle Busch, sliding in there right at the very end, going down into turn 1. Have some great racing here, guys. They make their way past Scott Benedict's. He's looking underneath Doobie. Sends it in a little bit too hard and just doesn't let it stick. Doobie and Tripp trying to work their way past Fitzpatrick Sr. in the 34 car. Looks like they're going to have no issues getting past him here. They're going to try to get up there and get past Jim Johnson, who is an EHP teammate of Kendrick Cryer. Definitely know Jim's going to fight as much as he can to keep his track position here. And while we were watching that battle, Jonathan Emerson did get around Kendrick Cryer. He is on, about 5 or 6 lap newer tires than Kendrick. So he may have a little bit more pace than Kendrick here for a couple laps until their fall off starts evening out. That top 5 cars are going to start pulling away here. Question is where will they shake out when they start pulling out? And what time do these guys really start getting more aggressive than they already have been? It's already been some great racing from everyone out here on track. It's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out. All right, guys, coming to the line, we have our running order of Jonathan Emerson back up in P1. He's led most of the green flag laps today. P2 is Mr. Kendrick Cryer. Looks like he's trying to chase down Jonathan there, looking to the inside. P3, you got Mr. Jim Johnson in the 39 car. Behind him, almost a second behind Jim Johnson, you have Mr. Josh Doobie in the 9, followed by Kenny Tripp, rocking the 12 car there. Still on the lead lap, Mr. Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. in the 34 car. And one lap down, you have Phil Hitman Manzo and Scott Benedict's rounding out the field in 8th place. Not having a great showing for his first time out here with JBSRL. This is definitely a very hard track and car combo. Do want to say thank you to ERS, Mr. Edwards Racing Setups, and all their setup builders for providing all the free setups for JBSRL. They are a great partnership here with us at JBSRL. They do all of our fixed setups. They do an amazing job. They provide the Legends base setup for our Monday night stuff, and always have some amazing races here using all of their setups. Check them out on Discord. If you need anything for any open setup on iRacing at all, put in a ticket and Austin and his setup builders will get you taken care of. Back to the action, guys, here. Lap 70 at the line. Do have a battle for first place here between Kendrick and Jonathan Emerson. Close behind them is Jim Johnson. Looks like he's just kind of holding off. He does bobble a little bit, loses some time there. He's going to have to work his way back up to stick his nose in this fight between the top two. Kendrick is all over Emerson right now. It's going to be interesting to see what he can try to do. Maybe he goes back to the apron and pulls his little trick there as well. He's got those left tires on that yellow line. He's getting it low. But how much is he burning off the tires here for a 100-lap race? Shooting up high, trying to just get that run here. A little bit of a bobble from hitting the apron there. Doesn't make it stick this time. So guys, as we watch the laps wind down here, we do want to make you guys aware of a couple more events going on for Warlord Gaming here this week. We do have Austin Edwards putting on his Oxford 250. There are qualifiers running all this week. We will be going live Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with action for the Oxford 250 events put on by Edwards Racing Setups. We will be having midgets on Wednesday at Oxford Plains. Yes, you heard that right. Dirt midgets, guys, at Oxford Plains. Definitely going to be an interesting time there. Thursday, we will be having a possible C main with the B main as well for the super late models to lock in the 22 car field. And we will also be having a 100-lap street stock enduro race. That is essentially a demolition derby, guys. Not going to want to miss out on any of the action. Definitely going to have to come out and watch the great time all 3 days. We do have Kendrick bobbling it, coming out of 4. He ends up losing almost a second to Emerson in that one moment. Got to wonder how hard is Kendrick pushing it right now. Got a little bit of a gap here between Josh Doobie and Kenny Tripp. Not able to hold the dominance they were earlier. Wonder if that little bit of damage for Kenny is affecting that car a lot more than he expected. Back 9 seconds behind these guys as we do have Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. in 6th place. Looks like Phil Hitman Monzo was able to get around Fitzpatrick there. He is 1 lap down, so he is going to be staying in 7th place. With Scott Benedict's rounding out the field, having a little fight here. Just for fun, guys. Just seeing who can be in better track position here between Scott Benedict's and Fitzpatrick Sr. Come back to your leaders here. 23 laps to go. 22 at the line. Is Kendrick going to be able to get back up on the bumper of Emerson? Johnson has fallen off to about 1.5 seconds here. Last time by, Kendrick was 0.2 of a second faster than Jonathan, running a 31.33 compared to the 31.53 by your leader. But is it going to be enough? That is the question here. Slowly chipping away that lead. As long as he doesn't bobble anymore, Kendrick may be able to get up there and possibly contest the lead here. Might have to make a little bit of contact coming to the checkered flag. So far, Jonathan Emerson is able to continue his dominance here. He's maintaining that 0.5 second gap off Kendrick Cryer. Watching the lap times here, guys. You know, Kendrick starting to fall off a little bit. But if there's one guy you do not want to count out, it is Mr. Kendrick Cryer. Cryer does make a little bit of the gap there. Looks like Emerson might have bobbled a little bit, got tight in 3 and 4. He does pull back out to a 0.4 second gap. Kendrick getting right up on that wall. And it is sketchy, especially with netcode issues and iRacing, guys. Never want to get too close to that wall. He is pushing the issue here. Pushing that car with 16 to go at the line. Trying everything he can. Driving his little butt off to get up there to Emerson. Back trying to use that apron just to turn the car. and ends up bobbling off of 2. He does that too much. He's going to allow Mr. Jim Johnson to come up here and contest for second. Well, guys, it looks like we have hit the time limit here. So we did get most of the laps in, but due to cautions here, guys, we did hit the time limit. So we will have Mr. Jonathan Emerson walking away with the win. Kendrick Cryer in second, and Jim Johnson coming in P3. We're doing what we can here to get our top 3 in for interviews. We'll be here with you momentarily. All right, here with us now, we have our third place finisher, Mr. Jim Johnson.
What's up?
How's it going there, man?
It took me 50 laps to figure out how to drive this thing, but finally figured it out.
I was going to say, they're on that second stint, you definitely showed a lot more pace. It definitely helped not hitting the wall coming out of 2.
Yeah, but I'd never dialed so much rear brake into a car in my life.
Just a massive amount. Man.
Yeah, every couple laps I was dumping more.
So
I think I made it exciting. Yeah. What do you want to know?
So how similar is this to New Hampshire? It looks like it's a real flat track.
It's flat like New Hampshire, but a completely different line. Like I've run a street stock here, and this was similar as the line all the way to the bottom. Super late model, you get a wider arc in both corners and just send it to the center and then drive off. But this was definitely a lot of braking. I hope I made it exciting when I went 4 wide down the backstretch. Did try to put a show on.
All you guys have definitely put on a show tonight. It's been amazing to watch it. You know, we've had Kendrick use every last ounce of this track. I don't know how it stuck. We'll be talking to him here momentarily, but
I didn't realize you had a time limit. I wish we had 14 more laps because I think I saved more tires than they did. I was hoping Kendrick was going to pressure enough where I could just drive up and go for it, but it was a good race.
No, it was a great race. You know, we weren't able to finish here under green. Well, we did finish under green flag, but not the full extent of the race here. But great drive, man. It was great watching you guys up there battling for the first 3 spots. All right, and with us now, we do have Mr. Kendrick Cryer. Buddy, all I got to say is, how do you use that apron?
On new tires, when I had new tires, it's pretty easy to do. But once you get them pretty used up, it's not gonna be very easy at all.
So that was my other question. So you obviously qualified P1. You had some great pace there for a while. How big did tire fall off play?
Huh?
How big did tire fall off play tonight?
Oh, quite a bit. I think I pushed a little too early, and then it just kind of fell off more than I wanted it to at the end. With everyone else pretty much saving their tires, especially Jonathan. He did a good job with that, and I just didn't save enough at the end.
So you did get into a couple incidents tonight. It was fun watching you work your way from the back. Was that probably the factor there into your tire fall off? You were trying to just get around everybody and get back up there?
Yeah, I mean, I had to get back on the lead lap. I was fortunate to do so before the caution. I mean, they had a few more laps newer tires than I did when I pitted on under green, and then they pitted under caution like 5 laps later. But I don't think that did too much, but it definitely hurt a little bit.
Well, it was definitely a great show from you here, Kendrick. It's great seeing you and Jim for EHP Racing finish second and third here. You definitely had the pace to get up there, but Jonathan Emerson just was able to hold you off tonight. Great drive.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys, and now we have our winner, Mr. Jonathan Emerson. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Jonathan, dominant race by you tonight, man. It was great. I think you led probably 90% of the green flag laps here tonight. It was great seeing, someone go out there and keep up with Kendrick, especially at one of his home tracks here. What was one of the biggest factors for you just being up front all day?
I think the biggest thing was that caution at the start. I avoided that, so I still had everything. I still had the lead, and I could kind of manage the race. And probably like 30 laps in, I finally learned this track and learned how to save tires. And that's basically what I did after that pit stop, and just managed the race basically.
And that's what we were hearing from Jim Johnson and Kendrick Cryer, is tire fall off was definitely a huge deal tonight. Kendrick did have to work his way from the back a couple times, even going down onto the apron to try to get his lap back from you right before that mid-race caution. And it looks like you were just able to save it, man. I was a little bit worried after the caution on whether you would be able to get around him again, but once you got back out there, it was great. You had that clean air and you just kept going. Great drive tonight, man. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a wonderful night.
You too.
All right, guys, and that will do it for JBSRL here at Milwaukee Mile. We will be going live Wednesday with JBSRL's Dirt 360s. They are heading to Lanier this week. Correction, I-55 this week. It's going to be a great time seeing the Wing 360s there. Possibly a secondary race, depending on admin preference. So we will see you guys Wednesday night for that. And see you later on this week with the Oxford 250.